Hello and welcome to your Great Conjunction Winter Solstice Yule reading edition of the 12 Days of Tarot. So if you're not familiar, this video is airing on December 21st. It is the Winter Solstice, which happens every year. It is Yule, which is in connection to the Winter Solstice in many traditions. And it is also a special 2020 edition of the Great Conjunction, which means that Jupiter and Saturn are lining up perfectly in the sign of Aquarius. This is technically what a lot of people are calling the start of the age of Aquarius. So it is definitely an important day. And I'm recording this 2 days prior and I'm already feeling the energy shifts as Jupiter has gone into Aquarius. Everything feels lighter. Everything feels like a party atmosphere. I'm alone in my apartment dancing around. And it is definitely a vibe that agrees with me anyway. I'm an Aquarius rising, so maybe that's part of it. But I definitely am enjoying the feeling of Jupiter going out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. So if you're feeling those good vibes, I hope that you're enjoying them. And if not, they will be coming. And we're gonna get a reading on exactly what to expect from this shift in energy during the next year and beyond. So we're gonna start as usual with a little Total Betty Goddess deck. The 90s goddess icons that I've created so that you can have a little big sister energy from the Divine Feminine to help guide you through your day with relatable faces to associate with them. So let's just talk about where all this energy is going. As an empath, I get a little preview of the energy a lot of times. So whenever there's a big astrological event or just something in the world that's happening, I will feel it happen like a week prior or a couple days prior. But I can tell you that this vibe is crazy good and there's a lot of energy coming in. So we're gonna try and figure out where to channel that new energy. So our goddess for this great conjunction is Balbo. Played by Drew Barrymore from the 90s because she was the most playful energy that I could think of to embody this goddess, because this is a goddess that is all about play and laughter. So it goes so well with this lighter party energy that we're moving into. As we're embracing this divine feminine energy and she's looking over the next couple months, the next year, how can you find more ways to integrate fun into your life even when you're doing something that's not a party? So that's the lesson that we're looking into. Take a little sip of my matcha. This is the Divine Love mug. If you're one of my patrons, you're familiar with this. The $22 level gets this mug after 3 months, and it's got the 4 goddesses from the Total Betty Goddess deck that are to do with love and sex. So I like to think of it as infusing whatever I'm drinking with like sort of like a love magic potion. Anyway, we're gonna move into our tarot cards. And we're using a different deck this time because the Moon Child Tarot is the deck that I like to pull out when I feel like something big is happening. And I feel like something big is happening. So we're gonna dive into these cards and just kind of feel out what this Age of Aquarius vibe is gonna be all about. So I can tell you, without even pulling cards, that because Aquarius is the sign that is known to be the innovator and the free thinker of the zodiac, that is the energy that we're moving into. And because we're coming from the energy of Capricorn into this, it's gonna feel like a really abrupt shift because Capricorn is very work related, it's very grounded energy, and then Aquarius is just shooting straight out into the cosmos. So as we're shooting out into the cosmos, the goal with this playfulness is to also find a way to channel your energy and your optimism into some sort of cause that is creating a better sense of community in the world. Aquarius is definitely that hippy dippy, we're all in this together, love one another vibe that you want to think of when you think of the musical Hair or anything from the 60s when people started talking about the beginning of the Age of Aquarius. And we are going to be utilizing that to create a global community. So we're going to pull some cards. We'll do a 9-card spread to just get a little vibe. And already we have some good cards coming up. All right, So diving into the spread, we are rooting ourselves into a very spiritual energy. Starting out the whole spread with the Page of Wands, which means that we are in a place of learning to master our inner worlds, our spirituality, our way that we connect to divine inspiration. And that is balanced with the beautiful card that's unique to this deck, Divine Wisdom. So that means that we already know that there's a sense of divine wisdom coming forward. We've already started feeling that because this is sort of like the energy that was moving into this great conjunction. It's just a matter of really intensifying that connection. And that is going to help us bust through any blocks that come up from the Wheel of Fortune vibes, which means that you have to take the good with the bad. So 2020 has really taught us that even when things get bad, we can find the little glimmers of hope. That's what we've been practicing over the past year, of when things don't look the way that we're used to them looking, whenever we don't know how to push things forward in the direction that we want to be pushing them, how can we still find happiness? How can we still find hope? How can we still make it work? And that's really the energy of the Wheel of Fortune is all about. It's talking about being okay with the discomfort because you know that that comes with the joys. There's a circle. The Wheel of Fortune is a wheel for a reason. So whenever you think of a wheel moving forward, there are times that you're at the top of the wheel and everything's amazing. And then in order to go forward, you have to then go down to the bottom of the wheel at some point. And then you know that in order to go forward, you come back up to the top. So unless your wheel is staying still, which isn't gonna feel very good, you're gonna experience both good things and bad things, joy and failure. So that is the lesson, and the way that we cope with this is from our Page of Wands and Divine Wisdom. The only way you're gonna get through those bad times is to connect to that energy of something greater than yourself. And this is really fitting for that Age of Aquarius energy because it is about the global community and the collective, and it's about a cause. It's not just about individuals anymore, which is a very Capricorn patriarchy based energy of moving from this place of working to improve ourselves and working to make ourselves a success to now working to lift everyone up. We want to all be on the same level of success. So if you see someone down the ladder from you, you want to reach down and grab their hand and pull them up with you. And that is going to be what helps you deal with that Wheel of Fortune, is when you know what your cause is, when you know that you're helping something more than just yourself, you can then help find that balance within you of the emotions that come up when things get hard. I talked about this in a previous reading, I believe it was the air sign predictions for 2021, about when you are feeling helpless, help someone, because that is a great remedy for the feeling of hopelessness, is to create hope in someone else's life. So just keep that in mind moving forward. We've already started planting those seeds over the course of the past year, but that's gonna be the basis for our growth in 2021, starting from this great conjunction forward. So in the present, we're still sorting out some messiness. Nothing we can't handle, but we are coming in with a little Seven of Swords. So there is some truth that's coming to light in regards to this great conjunction. It's going to bring out the truth, feeling a lot about the way that our society works, the way that our government works. We've already started to see it, but there's going to be more stuff coming forward. We're going to uncover some darker secrets that maybe we weren't expecting, maybe we were, but ultimately the way that we're going to cope with those is through the Three of Wands, which is through manifesting a better future through the way that we visualize what we want. This is showing us that, again, that Wheel of Fortune energy, take the bad with the good, take the good with the bad. Even as things that feel unpleasant get uncovered, know that your job is to then look at what wasn't working and picture something better for the future, and start to put your energy towards the positive rather than the negative. It's the law of attraction. Anyone that's studied anything about the law of attraction knows that like attracts like. So as these difficult or darker secrets start to be uncovered, and I think they're both gonna be globally and personally, as you start to uncover things in your relationships, as you start to see things in the news and in the media about things getting uncovered that are maybe shocking or surprising, you want to look at those things and think, okay, what do I want instead? You don't want to put all your focus on how horrible the system is or how horrible that relationship was. You don't want to focus on the things that went wrong. You want to take what went wrong and then transform it into what you're wishing for in the future and put your focus there. So yes, we want to look at what went wrong because we want to learn from our mistakes. You don't want to just put your head in the sand and ignore that something wasn't working. You want to kind of examine it, but just examine it long enough to be like, okay, where was the flaw in the system? And then take that, fix it in your mind, visualize it for the future, and then put all your energy towards the solution. So if you're trying to find a cure for cancer, you want to study cancer and how the disease works, but you can't spend all your time getting stuck there, or you're never going to find the cure. You have to figure out what the antithesis of that is in order to move positively towards the future. And that's what these cards are saying, is that yes, bad things are still going to come up. So don't expect that this, just because this energy is lighter, that everything's going to be great and grand. No, we still have work to do, and that's okay. And the goal with that is to not get stuck in that muck of what wasn't working. You got to look at what's not working and then figure out where you're going instead. And then from that, we are gonna have a little Two of Swords energy that is kind of feeling like it's blocking the way. So I feel like these old systems, these old way of doing things, or these old relationship patterns are gonna be coming up. We're gonna see them, we're gonna bring them to light. We're gonna start to transform them to make them more positive, and then they're gonna kind of jump ahead of us again, and they're gonna try and block us from doing that. But know that that power of manifestation and keeping your eye on the goal, on the prize, is what's gonna help you bust through that block of the Two of Swords that's coming in after you've started to manifest things. So just don't lose hope. Keep going, keep your eye on the prize. Remember that with every bad, there has to be a good. So you can think of that when it comes to forces of evil and forces of good. Whenever you have a bad, you ultimately have to come back up to the top. Someone has to come back up around for the opposite side of the wheel to keep things moving forward. Then we're moving into a lot of beautiful, spiritual, vibey energy. So as we're dealing with these things and breaking down these barriers and making new thought patterns and new ways of doing things, the best way, again, coming back to that Divine Wisdom card, is to stay connected to your spiritual self. You have to have something bigger than you that's moving you forward. Like I said, it has to be a cause. Maybe it's a divine force that you believe in, but you have to have something outside of you that feels like the light at the end of the tunnel, the sun that's shining down on you to keep you warm. And for most of us, that's spirituality. So whatever your form of spirituality is, really embrace it. And embrace it in a different way than maybe you did in 2020. 2020, it was used as sort of the coping mechanism. And now we're being urged to still maintain that spirituality even as things don't look quite as dire. When we start to move forward into a different paradigm, we still got to take that with us. It was serving us good for a reason. So take it with you, put it in your suitcase, pack it along, bring it along for the ride, and still continue to embrace those spiritual practices. So if you've started meditating this year, continue to do that. If you've been re-embracing yoga or chanting or whatever your form of spirituality is, make it a priority that it is a daily practice in some way or form, because that is going to keep you stable. Don't wait until you're sick to get the medicine. Keep yourself healthy year-round. And that goes for your spirituality. You don't want to wait until you're in an emergency state to try and go get help. Keep yourself hydrated, keep yourself eating good foods, keep your body moving in the spiritual sense, so that you don't have to come to the point where you need an emergency care. And with that in mind, we have the King of Wands coming in. King of Wands is mastering your own spirituality. It's also mastering your passions. So again, there's this great vibe of finding what your cause is. There's really something passionate about this energy that's coming in, and we're all gonna have our own part to play. So know that you don't have to solve everyone's problems at once. You just have to find what really calls out to you, what you can really dedicate your energy to moving forward, and dedicate yourself to that cause. So if you're an animal lover, dedicate yourself to, promoting plant-based diets and volunteering at shelters, and let that be your niche. You don't have to save the entire world. There are enough of us with enough separate interests that we can all take care of the different things if we just play our part. So play your part. Find what your passion is, what your cause is, and continue to master that. Continue to find what more you can do for that. How can you integrate that more into your life? If you are an environmentalist and you're recycling and you're doing this, how can you up-level that? How can you do something more than what you've been doing in the past, but still stay focused on that cause that you believe so strongly in? We have the Knight of Wands coming in, which also says that we are so much closer to the end goal than we think we are. So yes, we are going to be encountering things that are feeling like they're blocking us from our manifestations. We are going to be facing some hard truths about the world and the system that we live in. But the work that we have is not the entire length of the ladder. We are like 1 or 2 rungs from the top of the ladder, but we're blindfolded, so we just can't see. So even if you feel like you've been climbing this ladder forever, know that you're almost there. And the way that you can see that, even though you're blindfolded, is to stay connected to that spirituality. So whatever your spirituality is, they have the overhead view of that ladder. They know you're so much closer than what you think you are. So anytime you feel like you're ready to quit climbing the ladder, tap back into that spirituality. Ask for whatever you believe in to show you that you're closer than you think. And then through that spirituality, we're able to cope with the moon energy, which is an energy of both light and darkness. Again, we kind of come back to that Wheel of Fortune idea. The moon is being okay with shining light on your shadows and the things about yourself or your society that you may not be super proud of, but that are still a part of what's happening. And so it's not about putting your head in the sand and ignoring what's going wrong. It's about looking at it and then trying to figure out how to bring it more into the light. How can you make things work better? How can you make your shadow side feel brighter? And through that, we come back to our goddess, which is through playfulness and not taking things too seriously, but also being passionate about things. Just because you're not taking something seriously doesn't mean that you don't care about it. You can care deeply about something and still find a way to make it lighter. And that's the lesson of this great conjunction. So if you like this reading and you would like to support what's going on with these videos, or if you like long readings like this on astrological events, I post an extended reading on the new and the full moon over on my Patreon, patreon.com/Michelle Shea. Again, if you're at the $22 level for 3 months, you get this Divine Love mug so you can infuse your morning brew, your matcha, your whatever you're drinking with a little love and sexuality for this new vibe. And if you enjoyed the Total Betty Goddess deck with my 90s icons, it's available for sale over at michelleshaywalker.com/shop.